Hi, this is Dr. Michael Craig. Let me talk a little bit about selling yourself as a coach. Back when I first started as a chiropractor, this is back in the early mid-'80s, I didn't know how to sell. In fact, I was a terrible salesperson when selling was thought to be foot in the door, say as much as you can in as little time as you can and get things sold. And so the perception of selling really goes back to there. I don't care at what your age. Selling sort of has a stigma. And what I'm going to tell you here today is that selling your services as a coach is primarily set up before you even see the client, the prospective client. And let me explain. What happens is that you need to have three elements in place. First of all, you need to be perceived as the expert in a particular niche. You need to be perceived as the expert for that person's particular problem. And the third thing is that they need to come to you, which was the missing link. Now, with that in place, what happens when you get them in your office? What happens when you are sitting with that person? There's still a selling that needs to take place. There's still some decision that this person needs to make with regards to you. When that decision and that commitment is made is when the coaching actually begins. In fact, that's part of the missing link, is that once they choose you, once they select you, once they make a commitment to your program or to your guidance, then the coaching really begins. So part of the selling is to show them that not only do you understand the particular field that they're in or particular problem per se, but that you understand their problem. You understand their problem, and you also have a vision of possibilities about how this problem can be resolved, how the future can look for them, and how they can be brought to that place through their own decisions, through their own volition and activities and more actions, things like that. So the first session, let's say you're giving away a session to a client. You want to be able to give that client some idea of how this thing is going to take place, why it's going to take place, remind them of why, also present with them the how, and that how will include obviously your feedback, your direction. Assuming you're doing non-directive coaching, you're going to show them how this works, maybe do a demonstration. If you're doing logical soul work with someone, it's a very powerful thing where you can show that person exactly how you're going to break through any barrier that may stand in their way, period, and get them to the point to where they can achieve whatever they want to achieve. So the idea of selling is a natural progression where you're setting this up from the very first contact, even before the contact, to the point to where they make a decision for you because they find that your solution is the most practical solution that they would have. And so selling just needs to be a natural progression. It doesn't take a whole lot of thought on their part. They naturally fall into a decision to choose you as their coach. Once that decision takes place, then it's easy going from there on. The decision, however, has to be set up properly. First of all, you need to attract the right clientele. If that person doesn't have the problem that you know that you can solve very definitively, chances are you're going to be fumbling around trying to find solutions in the first session. That's not going to sell them. What's going to sell them is that they know that you have the solution. They feel that you have the solution in their gut, and they make a decision, a natural decision, to go with you. So that's selling your business, that's selling your coaching, and here's wishing you the best of luck. I'm Dr. Michael Craig. Stay tuned for more.